Hello, Kendra E here. I am trying out something new called vlogging, which is basically talking to the microphone with my mouth rather than to the keyboard with my fingers. The reason I'm trying this out is firstly, a lot of my friends are doing it and it looks really cool, and secondly, I'm starting to develop typist corns from speed typing the influence into the computer and entering huge stacks of books into our new library database, which I found on the internet. My mom decided she wanted to catalog all our books, so I said, while we're at it, why don't we just put it in the computer? Because I've been wanting to do that. So she said, sure. And so I am. But I'm trying to develop typist coins. So I'm going to cut back on that and do this verbally. Now, first, I've got two things to talk about. First is Miss Jack Lewis Bailont from Haphazardly Implausible, author of Haphazardly Implausible. She blogs at highly a bit unlikely, something like that. I don't type in the URL very often. But she is about to publish her second book, A Stretch for Loyalty, which is the second book, the first book in its series, because of loyalty. And when she published her first book, Haphazardly Impossible, she had us talk about new books that we have read recently in Royal Light. But for this book, she wants us to talk about characters. And I've got 3 talks I'd like to give, but if I can get it in between for her deadline. But my first one will be about Elsie Dinsmore. Elsie Dinsmore is one of my favorite series. It's one of those series that Mom told me, Kendra, you ought to read this book. And I'm like, words, I can't have the character. So she pulled up the big gun and read a few chapters aloud to me and my sister. Well, I got impatient, grabbed the book off the shelf, and had it read over in a few nights. Then I went and got the second book, and then the third book, and the fourth book, all the way to number 12, whereupon I ran out of the books we owned. So I had to go visit my aunt, who had book 13. I read that, but she didn't have book 14. So I pretty please asked my grandma to buy me the remainder of the series. And she did, except for book 15, which wasn't available. But I now have book 15, which she also bought me for Christmas. So I own the entire series, as well as first 5 of the Mildred books. And Elsie Dinsmore gets a lot of flack for being too perfect, too pristine. But you know what? I think what she is she's more of a role model than someone you need to associate with. We, today, are so wrapped up in, you have to identify with this character. You know what? I had no trouble identifying with her. She had troubles. And she would, many times, wrestle with right and wrong. But basically what I see her as is something to aspire to. I would love to be able to just, the instant my dad or mom, Elsie doesn't have a mom, the instant my parents told me to do it, I'll go do it. I wish I had that. I aspire to have that servant's heart that she has. But she makes mistakes. Oh, she is a stubborn girl when she clashes wills. But most people just get stuck on the, she's too perfect, I can't identify her, and don't realize that she's not there to be identified with. You're supposed to make her your role model. And as the series progresses, there are more characters who are imperfect, such as Lulu Raymond, who is my favorite book in the series. That would be this girl there. Is Lulu with Elsie up there. I think this is one of my favorites for Christmas, and that's fun. Okay, and on to number 2. Curie Liz, who blogs over at Leanne Tamenlore, has issued out the 11 Thieves tag again. And I have tags. And basically you do 11 facts about yourself, and then answer her 11 questions, and then you go have fun. Well, actually, you're supposed to tag 11 people and ask them 11 questions. So, 11 facts. I think I'm going to change that up a little bit. Since Bocania Day is coming up next month on the 12th, just a few weeks away, I'm hoping my cousin gets me the cover art by then because I still don't have it. I'm going to do 11 facts about Bocania. Number 1. This is what Robin's haphazard knot looks like. When I first wrote the book, I was picturing something a bit messier, but that was because my hair was like this short at the time, and I didn't have enough length to put it up like she does, because I really enjoyed doing my hair up like my characters. But since then, my hair has grown out, and I now can do it. And I've learned that Robin's knot does not have any pins. It's just twisted up there in a knot, and it's fun. Number 2. Robin's hair is longer than mine. This is because she has only had one haircut in her life. It took off quite a bit of hair. I mean, it was quite long. She was at 12, and it took up to about to her rib cage, her elbow length, and it was by accident. She did not mean to have a haircut, nor did the person giving her the haircut really mean to give it to her. That might be a short story later on. Number 3. I mentioned once that Bocania doesn't have sunsets. This is because the sunset and sunrise is brought by the cloud sprites Dawn and Evening. Only Dawn fell in love with a human man, and that's a no-no for the cloud sprites, and she got cast to Earth, and she became Echo, and her job is to be an Echo. Number 4. In book 2, there's this character who shows up briefly, helps out two of the other guys, and then disappears. You don't know what her name is. You really don't know what she looks like. She also appears in My Kingdom, and she'll keep appearing throughout the books until I tell you who she is. But for now, what I'll tell you about her is that she is related to Robin. I'm not going to tell you how, but she is related to the Locksley family. Number 5. If you have read, you're one of the people who's gotten and read You Take This Quest. You have met Cinderella's prince and another character connected to her. I'm not going to tell you how she's connected because it's an out-of-canon connection. Number 6. The reason You Take This Quest is purple is because That's Madeline's favorite color, lavender. Her favorite flower is also lavender. Number 7. For some odd reason, Clifford is going to get into book 4. I won't say it directly, but he's thanks to my sister, little one. Number 8. Agatha, the gem dropper in book 1, she's also in book 2. Her sister, who got cursed with frogs and toads, is named Hagatha. Number 9. I have here is the original, actually not, this is the second copy of Robin's List, written with real calligraphy pen. And a little heads up, she will, with Eric's help, she will fulfill every single item on the list except fight a dragon. But this does not mean she does not encounter a dragon. She just doesn't get to fight it. Number 10. For the longest time, I did not know what people drank in Botania besides water. But my mother has recently informed me that they drink a kind of fruity tea. They basically boil fruit and tea leaves, and it tastes good. And number 11. I mentioned on my Tips for Young Writers about world building that I have a world that exists within a book. Well, what other book would it be? The world would it be within Botania? Yes, Botania exists within a book. It's interesting and fun and all that good stuff. Okay, and now for Kiri's question. Number 1. What does your pillowcase look like? Well, I could describe it to you, but I think I hear that picture is worth 1,000 words. So, yeah. Number 2. Which classic animated Disney film does your life most resemble? Does this mean define classic? Is this the movie done in Walt Disney's lifetime? I'll go with that answer. Oh, Cinderella. You see, I have every time I've got a minute, that's the moment they begin in, Kendra! You need to go wash the dishes! Kendra! Someday, my prince will come, go off and marry me, and we'll be in style. Not only that, I have 2 sisters. They're not stepsisters, but the little one is definitely spot on me. The second I get my Tic Tac out, she runs over, Kendra! Me, I give them to her. Number 3. How would you react if I, Kiri Liz, right now appeared at your front door? Well, firstly, you would not be at my front door. We do not have a front door. We have 3 back doors. I live in trailer homes, and all our front doors are either squished up against each other, or they're squished up against a big wall of dirt. But if you were to appear at one of my back doors, probably the one that's right over there, I would at first be a bit surprised. How did you get down here? Are you really Kiri Liz? And then once I got over my surprise, I'd think it's hunky dory, coolest stuff in the world, and we could force you to talk plot with me. Tell me all your secrets. I'd tell you all my secrets in fair trade. That's fair person. You see me in real life, and suddenly I'm telling you everything that happens in the book. You could also go talk to my sister who plays the violin, and 2 of you could do a duet. You with your flute, her with the violin, that'd be fun. 4. If you could trade places with one of the Jane Austen characters, who would it be and why? Either Emma or Elizabeth. Emma because she's rich, and everything goes her way, mostly. or Elizabeth because I just like the plot. It's a fun book. I don't know how I would fare in her world, though. 5. What does the word logostellus mean? I have no idea. Does it have anything to do with either forestry or stars? You'll have to tell me what it means. What's one recipe that you would love to try but haven't yet? I think I'll go with grasshopper bars. I mean, I've got this Betty Crocker cookbook that I get all my recipes from. And on one of the cookies page, there's this picture of grasshopper bars, and it looks so good, all chocolatey and minty. I just love to try one. If you have a Pinterest account, which board do you find yourself pinning the most pins? That's not a hard question. It's my Ardnek Good Cover Arts board, which is basically any picture that is about the right size for a book cover and has adequate blank, mostly blank space for words. Second most is my Inspiring Words, which is basically anything that inspires my writing or Christian life. And third is my Botania Quest storyboard. 8. If practice and lessons were irrelevant, what instrument would you love to play? The harp. I have a small lap harp, which is a 15 string about that big. I would love to own and be able to play a big, full-sized one. The guy who gives my sister violin lessons actually makes smaller sized ones, about waist high, or a bit shorter, I believe. And he said he'll make me one if I give him $100. So I just need to save up the money and give it to him. And then I can have a harp, not a big one, but it'll be a harp. You don't have to learn how to play it. Do you keep a journal, diary, or neither? I have a diary. This is Molly. She's my diary. Yes, I named my diary. She's named after the American Girl. But the last entry I put in it was September of 2011, talking about Sets of Quest publication. So no, I'm not a very faithful diary keeper. And coincidentally, that's about the time I really got serious blogging. So you can say that blogging has turned into my diary. I also have a writing journal that I write a bunch in. This one actually used to belong to my mom, which is really cool because I can see some of her notes that she would talk about. It's fun. Do you smell books? If so, please tell us what the best smelling book is. Yeah, I smell books. I mean, that's how I get to know the book that I've really been wanting to read, so I just go, oh, so good to meet you, book. Or when I get anything in the mail, like there's a quest in the mail, the first thing I do is I go, my book. The best smelling book I've smelled so far, because I've been sorting through the books, when I see a particularly old book, I'll sniff it. And I had some from 1935 that smelled really good. But I don't remember what the titles were. There was something about our changing world and about science and technology in the 30s. 11. Just because I'm curious, which one of my WIPs, works in progresses, are you interested in the most and why? Oh, your 12th Kingdom, definitely. Because I am addicted to fairy tale retellings, and the 12th Kingdom is a retellings. 12 Dancing Princesses, and you said you're mixing in Charles Dickens. That sounds cool. And after that, I'm really interested in Leanne Taman lore, the book, because of the poem, the prophecy you posted, which is really pretty, and I want to know how it ties in with her. And your Kyanna sounds intriguing. Those snippets really intrigue me. And that tabby that you have on your list, 3 Girls Coming to Our World, that sounds really cool. I'd love to see what you're doing with that. That's one of the books I would make you talk about. Okay, and to sum it up, I don't really have time to ask you guys questions or to tag people. So instead, I'm just going to tell you to go over to my WIP page, which is there, and pick up to 11 of the books that most intrigue you and comment, excluding Bikini Quests and the Ankulin, because I've talked a lot about them, and I already know you guys are very intrigued by them. And if you have read, I've emailed you, and you've read one of them, exclude that one. If you haven't read a book, don't exclude it, or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so farewell, all faders saying goodbye. Adieu, adieu to you and you and you. Goodbye.